All right. Let's get it going right here, right now. This is Too Much Information, and you are listening to episode number 8 of TMI here on the Shelly Martinez YouTube channel. If you didn't know by now, my name is Chad, and every single week we go hard here on TMI, and we dig deep into the week's news, to what's going on. But hey, if you didn't think that every week she says, oh, I don't know if I should tell this story, well, she goes ahead and tells it anyway. We're going to welcome back in here to episode 8 of TMI, Miss Shelly Martinez.
Hola, hola, hola. What's going on? Ooh. Spoiler alert. Janel Grant gives me a headache. Spoiler alerts. She gives me a real big headache. But yeah, dude, here we are. Sunday fun day. How's your day so far?
I mean, you know, it's been a dragger a little bit. Again, here on the side of the country for me, we're about to get hit by another kind of snowstorm where I am. We're getting a lesser part of the huge blizzard that's hitting the Northeast, but my side, like the DC Metro, we're getting a little bit. We're not getting a huge like push that the East Coast is getting. We're getting a little bit, but still, we just cleared it out. We're supposed to be having spring coming here at the end of the week, but we're getting this last little push of snowstorm. So dragging a little bit today. Kind of sucks. We want this gone. But it's that last little gasp at the end of February that we always get. So I kind of wish I was in sunny California right about now. That's why you are my perfect tag team partner, because I want to live through your eyes on some days. I wish I was in California.
It is sunny, a nice sunny day. It is a nice sunny day. However, I did notice that they're chemming up the skies already. So that means they're making the rain happen. Look, go ahead and say what you want if you disagree with that comment. But that is a fact. Like, we just got hit with a bunch of rain last week for like 4 days in a row. Same thing. Last weekend, it was like today. And then they were chemming it up. And then there's even an X. I was like, oh, X marks the spots. And we had that rain. So I looked and it looks like rain's coming again. There you go. But it is a nice sunny day today.
Okay. Yeah, that's what they thought about our ice storm the last time. It was a manufactured ice storm, because never in history did you have 3 feet of ice hit the DC Metro area that literally took out schools and work for a week, leveled all businesses. You couldn't even move it with traditional snow shoveling tools and apparatuses. And they were like, nope, this was the chem snow. This was the chem ice. So,
well, here I'm here to say,
I believe you.
I'm just here to say facts. Last weekend was just like this. And then I noticed when I was outside in my backyard, they're chemming it up because the nice blue sky was now all marked up. And like I said, X marks the spot. And as soon as when I was coming from the house into the bat cave, the last time I came, when I was like setting up my lighting and everything, that was like maybe 30 minutes before I came in here. And then it was blue skies. Blue. So blue. There was not one cloud in the sky. Now it's all marked up. So it's obvious. So I'm just saying the facts, stating the facts, saying the facts that watch. Now it's going to rain again because they're marking up the sky.
Well, you're our reporter on the scene, so you're going to let us know what happens. Is it going to be
the girl Martinez?
Meteorologist Shelly Martinez. That's a nice thing to add to your sizzle reel.
Is. When I was in junior high, I thought if acting and wrestling didn't work out for me, maybe I could be a weather girl. I did.
I like it. I could see it.
And even back in the day when I used to do topless and nude content, there was like this thing called Naked News. And I even tried out for that, dude. I tried out for that and I didn't get it. Thank God. No offense to any of the reporters out there. But I would really regret it. And I would have been feeling real guilty to this day about it if I did get that gig. So thank goodness.
I think that naked news was always featured on like HBO Real Sex, and that's where you would see the naked news highlighted. Because I mean, where were you gonna find? I never knew. Where did people find it?
I don't know, but it
Well,
was a
you tell me. You might
thing.
have auditioned for it almost.
I
So where
know,
would
but
you have
I'm
found it?
here. I'm here, and you see the casting, you get sent out on things, you know what I mean? So you know what's going on and what's the ongoing thing, and at that time, it was known that if you got booked on the Naked News, it was a really, really easy gig, it paid pretty good, and it was ongoing, and to me, I was like, "Well, I mean, it's the weather. I can be a weather girl or something over there." It was a whole thing, and I felt the same way about that Naked Wrestling. Remember that one with Carmen
Yeah.
Electra was attached to
Hmm.
it? I toyed with and was approached by some of the people that were casting for the girls for that too, and I was so tempted, and I was even gonna do it just because Carmen Electra was involved. Because to me, the Y2K model in me is like, that's how you make things happen. You got to connect and network with people. And then people like working with you. Like, and Carmen Electra was somebody that was getting the kind of gigs that like I aspired to get. So yeah, I'm glad I never went with that. No offense to anyone that did it, but I would feel regretful. And the naked news, I'm glad that didn't work out as well.
It's got to be really hard to read the news when it's super cold inside of the
Well,
studio. You know what I mean?
even better for camera.
You think that they made it cold, or you think that they
I think so.
regulated the temperature? Yeah, you think so?
Probably.
For nipplish purposes, they made it cold?
Exactly.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to
Exactly.
get the psychology in. And then on the psychology side, for naked wrestling, do you use like psychology in a match? Do you have to like work a certain body part? You know, like is that you work the left side in naked wrestling?
I don't know, I didn't get that far into it because I always got scared. I always felt like, and this was before my boob job, so I was
Mhm.
really insecure about my boobs prior to getting them done. So that was a big factor of maybe thinking that wasn't so great for me to do because I was kind of like, I'm pretty sure that's the timeline of it.
Is Carmen Electra like the agent for the match? Is she like the
I
or is
don't
she
even
like
know
the
what she
Vince McMahon?
was. I don't even remember what she was. She was like her name got thrown around all the time with it. I never even seen a show. Like, again, I was solely wanting or curious about doing it because I wanted to be attached to something that Carmen Electra was
I
doing
get it. I get it.
because I was being a wannabe.
I get it, and that's the DVD that you see at, and this is not going for a joke here, at Coconuts. That's the old store that would sell DVDs, or FYE or Suncoast, but Coconuts was one of them. That's a DVD you'd see in there. Carmen Electra's Naked Wrestling. Come on,
Naked
that's what it would
Wrestling.
be.
It
Come on,
would.
folks.
They pushed it hard, and like I said, I was a wannabe Carmen Electra, not that I wanted to be her, but she made me feel like, yeah, I can do that. Like, cause we don't look the same, but we have some similar features. And so I felt like, oh, okay, she's, okay, like she was a, that sounds cheesy, but she was like a role model to me for a really long time, you know?
No, not cheesy. She was huge. I mean, she was a megastar. I mean, she still does really well.
Yeah.
She's a OnlyFans contributor now. Makes really popular content still to this day, and works in the '90s stars. She does a lot still.
Yeah, absolutely. Positive vibes, Carmen Electra.
Good job, Carmen Electra. Now, all right. So I mentioned Vince. You mentioned Janelle. That's going to be pretty much the topic of the day. You and I feverishly going back and forth on Friday when everything was breaking. The video came out of Janelle's appearance at a conference where there was an NDA. It was all about NDAs and I guess women and their role in the NDA process. And she spoke. We got to see her for the first time. Everybody kind of got to get their words out there about her. Again, you and I spoke about this via text and shared some thoughts. This is now going to come to the TMI universe. So, where do you want to freaking start? I've got so much for us to tackle, So, where do you want to start?
Let's start with my experience with the whole thing, okay? So, here I am. I'm, like, scrolling as per usual. This time not on the toilet, though.
Thank
And
God.
I saw Janelle pop up and, like, somebody saying that she was gonna be or it was the video, you know? And so I was like, "Whoa, she exists." So I didn't have time right when I saw that, I got caught up in something, so I didn't have time to watch it. But while I was caught up in what I was having to do, I was thinking about how funny it would be to make a shirt that says Janelle Grant is real because, like, I kept saying she wasn't real, and I thought it'd be funny. I was thinking of all these shirts to make to wear on our show to, like, poke fun at, like, I thought she real because we talked about there's that one photo and, like, you really don't see anything, and then the fans out there, like, were replying saying, "No, she was in this movie," and, like, all this. So it's like Sasquatch kind of. It's like finding Bigfoot, you know? And like Bigfoot back in the day in the Inquirer, there was always that one photo, you know? That was Janelle Grant. She was Bigfoot. And now I'm like, oh, they caught Bigfoot on they got her on video. So then I came in the Bat Cave to marinate and have a little break ski. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna watch that video. I immediately felt dumb for ever wanting to put her name on anything that I wear. Like, immediately, I was like I was having fun in my head with this, right? Thinking we can bring a fun aspect to it, the commentary here. But then the more I started watching, I just started getting angry. And I was like, "Am I crazy? Am I the like and who's these women that are there with their handlers her handler or something?" Like, it's weird. The whole thing seemed weird, and what makes me upset about this is, look, if she felt suicidal or anything like that toward like, with the whole thing, that sucks. Like, no matter what who you are, that sucks. But gals like Janelle Grant pissed me the F off because going back to pre WWE days, pre wrestling days, when I was just a model actress trying to figure it out to filter through being in the wrestling business and then filter to being in freaking WWE. That whole journey. And then guess what? From then till today, that journey still continues. That if you are willing to do certain things or have certain arrangements with people for opportunities, then they're there. And I'm a girl who has been in positions multiple times in my life to be at that crossroad and to be like, do I sign up for this or do I not? And there's times I wanted to. I will say this, and it's so crazy because before the Janelle Grant thing was even a thing yet, it was like weeks ago. I was thinking about how I was thinking about you because, like, when you brought up on another show, oh, that you know one of my ex-boyfriends that, like, I didn't have a good experience with. I remember one of the first dates we had, I told him I was so desperate, and I wonder if he remembers this, to, like, trying to make things happen. I was like, "You know, I'm thinking maybe I should just be one of these girls that goes to, like, Dubai or something. Like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. What happens, happens, but, like, then I don't have to worry about it. Like, you just suck it up, like, whatever." So, I'm here to say that I have been a person that not just in the wrestling business, but entertainment and being a hot girl, a hot young girl back in the day, I was tempted to be in these weird situations for money and understanding that's the assignment because of all the other girls around me that are doing it. And not only that, girls that end up being high profile, going back to I was a Carmen Electra wannabe, like even her, like, you know, she got her big push when she got with Prince. You got to align yourself with a top name and then let them mold you and then make them their creation, whatever. So that's why I have such an opinion on Janelle Grant because even though it sucks, she probably is effed up and always will be over the different things that she went through. You know the assignment. And there's times that I lost opportunities or couldn't go level up in my career because I didn't take a certain path. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong path. Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own limits. Everyone has their own reasons. And that's why, like, when I was dating that guy and we were on that, like, that thing, I was expressing to him, like, I felt like I wasn't getting a sign that, like, it's not going to happen for me. So I should just go to Dubai and be one of these girls. So, and I say that one specifically because there's vile things that girls I know that were going to Dubai had, like a Janel Grant situation having done to them. And that's what I'm saying. I thought maybe that's my best opportunity and chance here. Maybe that's it. Or like when I wanted to be a girl that gets let to live at the Playboy Mansion, I knew what you had to do. And I was like, well, it's better than what's going on now. I mean, at least like if I can get in there and like, get in with them, I can like, I don't have to worry about this or that. Like, I get it. I get Janelle Grant and where she's coming from. But I'm here to say it's a choice. And she chose to have this arrangement with McMahon. She chose to go through certain things to get what she wanted at the end of the day. And then where it really makes me mad is there's people out there that did not consent, men or women, I don't care who, they did not consent. They get taken advantage of against their will, and then their jobs or whatever it is now in jeopardy because they need to be quiet. Like, those stories exist, and a lot of those stories don't get out there because they have to comply because you got all these Janelle Grants out there trying to act like this little do-gooder when you knew you weren't taken advantage of. It was very clear. You get X, Y, and Z, and this is what you have to do for it. If you want to continue to have this thing, I'm sure he upped the ante every time they like renegotiated. So,
Oh yeah.
and that's when she wanted more things for herself that are going to be more expensive because now to her, that transaction, that currency, it needs to match. So, oh, if McMahon, you want me to do that now? Well, then guess what? You're getting me a BMW. That's where you see the currency rise on both ends. It's a deal, it's a transaction. And it makes me angry to no end that she is playing this part. And maybe she's a plant, industry plant. I don't know. There's also that twist. But either way, this video made me so mad to where I was goofing around in my head about how we can make light of the situation a little bit here on our show and make it different than everyone else. And then immediately Janelle Grant took that away from me with her damn nonsense and what she has to
Hmm.
say in that video. And I'm a woman, and
Yeah.
I'm a woman that has had shitty things happen to me. I don't like that girl. I don't like that girl.
Okay. All right. In the filing, these are just some. I'm going to go back and forth here. In the filing, Janelle says, and this was text messages recovered. It says that she was in love with Vince and he was the love of her life. It says that he was her best friend. It says that she wanted to have sex with him and provided graphic detail. It says that she fantasized about being held down, enjoyed being in pain, and wanted to have rough sex. It says that she wanted Vince to watch her have sex with other people and and wanted him to know about her sex with others. She said that she wanted Vince to give her thousands of dollars for clothes, plastic surgery, and other gifts. She wanted to have a future with Vince even after signing the agreement, and she wanted Vince to keep living in the same building as her so she could continue to see him after signing the agreement that started all this. Now, I saw this posted on X this morning, so I can't take credit for making this, but if you look on the screen, this right here is a breakdown of the gifts that Vince McMahon gave Miss Grant over a 3-year period. Okay, medical care and cosmetic services, tickets to the Belmont Stakes, premium WrestleMania tickets, $2,000 Nordstrom gift card, Godiva chocolates, $20,000 towards surgery, pearls, cashmere cardigan, gray cashmere shawl, so on and so forth. You can read at your leisure. BMW, like you mentioned.
See, in 2021, the ante went up. And even the flowers, oh, in 2020, it was every other week. But in 2021, every week.
Right.
Or every, oh, I'm sorry. I misread, wait, every other week. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I misread that. My bad. But
Yeah.
the Bloomingdale's, that's, $15,000 Bloomingdale's. In 2019, we see a $2,000 Nordstrom's. That's a big jump. And then the catered from a private chef, like that's a big deal. That's a lot. And then you got this other spa thing, and then the car's the big kicker here in 2021. Now in 2020 he did give her the allowance for the surgery, which was whatever, but who's to say if she spent all that? It said, that's what you can get. Point is, the ante went up every year. It's there. So it's not, everything is out on the table. I'm guaranteeing you, Vince McMahon wasn't like, guess what, Janel Grant, I love you and I'm going to leave my wife and have a, like, no, dude, ever. I have a hard time believing Vince McMahon ever said that to a Janel Grant. That's not what he's doing. But he knows he has to pay the piper, just like she has to pay the piper. So he wanted to continue to have her around, then fine. He has to budge and he has to do these things. So it's so transactional. I don't care if she loved him or not. That's neither here nor there. What is here and there is that she is playing victim. Victim to what? That you didn't get your way anywhere, you spoiled little brat? That's what it's felt like to me. And then, ew, gag me with a effing spoon right now when she was like saying her little speech or whatever. I cannot stand when people, like, she said something like, said whatever happened. She goes, so tickle me with a bunch of colors, da, 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 da. Like the way she was articulating it, like it was like some kind of fantasy book, like some like romance novel, like the verbiage. I was like, ew, what are you doing? If you were taken advantage of, if you were a victim of something very serious here, I guarantee you wouldn't be like spitting out these little kind of, you think so witty ways of like transitioning your sentences. You sound like a little bitch. Sorry, I was going to say something. No, but I'm just going to say it.
Were you going to call her a word that starts with C?
No, this is what I'm going to say.
Oh,
okay. No one come for me.
Oh,
okay?
Wait a second. Wait.
Okay. So I'm going to give everyone a disclosure before I give this TMI, okay? When I say what I'm about to say, just remember I'm talking from old school mentality, young Shelly back in the day, seeing disrespect, okay? Janel Grant is acting like a little bitch that needs to get her ass beat. She needs to get her ass beat. And I'm not saying that someone needs to go physically harm her, but like life needs to physically beat her ass because she needs to know how that feels, because this entitled little bitch that has this like list of demands. And then now she's over here flipping the script unless I'm missing some kind of details. And that's what I kept thinking, Chad, when I was watching it and getting mad. I was like, maybe I'm missing something. Like maybe there was like some shadiness that I'm missing here, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. And nothing added up. Everything sounded like you are no longer getting your way. He was done with you because now you're probably too old for him. So, and too much of a pain in the ass at this point, right? So you're gone, you're done, and you're mad. That's what it sounds like. And when she was saying something, I can't remember exactly, but a couple different times she had mentioned something to the effect of like, before that she can give an official reply, I think, to, like, the FBI about certain things or whatever. They just, like, made the answer for her or whatever. Okay, that's not cool, that's not fair, but it's still me as a person trying to understand the situation, watching her have her moment to explain her side of the story. I still left away with the same opinion, but worse because now I'm mad. Now I'm mad that you have and then here's the other thing. Let's say there was some shady thing that happened, whatever it is that's not cool that happened, right? If she were to come forward and be like, "Look, I had this arrangement with him. I signed this NDA because that was part of the arrangement. And even though maybe I got in my feelings or whatever, whatever, we did have this arrangement and, give and take. But then this happened. And this is what my issue is. And this is what I'm trying to get justice for." That would change the entire story for me. But she's
Okay.
acting like she's been taken advantage of the whole time when not acknowledging her participation in the fact that it was a transactional thing, that
Right.
it is something that you both have a list of requirements for, not just one person. 2, 1, 2. That's where for me I kept hoping that maybe she could redeem herself and be like, "Yeah, look, I was in this situation. I felt like da da da. The best things, like what she was saying, like all this stuff came out and blah blah blah. Own up to it at least. Be like, yeah, that's why I signed the NDA. But then XYZ happened, so that's why I'm upset now. With that XYZ to me, I don't even know what that is, except that she's upset that she got humiliated and she lost access to McMahon. That's what it sounds like to me.
Mhm. And she'd probably go back to him with the way the verbiage was and everything earlier.
1000%. 1000%. 1000%.
And then the same day as all this footage from the NDA convention came out, his footage of his car accident came out. Did you see that?
I did, and that's why I'm like, "Is this a work?" Like, what is going on? Like, this is weird. This is like and then that's why I try not to get too upset about it because it's like, I don't know everything. I just know what everyone else is finding out, right?
And
So
he got treated very well during that car accident for
oh,
somebody
yeah.
driving 115 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah. Oh, coulda killed somebody, but everyone whoever they're asking for autographs and he's, "Oh, sure," or whatever. Okay. It's all weird. They're all weird. But I'm here to say, I don't care if Janelle Grant is a plant or if it's genuine or a little bit of both. I don't like that girl.
So, all right, let's put her back up on the screen. So you
Look
do
at
not
her.
like this girl.
I don't like her, and I wonder if who these women are behind her, especially the
Well,
one
one of
that
them is her lawyer. I know that. I know this. The lady to the left
okay,
is for
survivor
sure.
of
That's
what? Survivor of what? An advocate for what?
well, she's a traffic survivor. That's what. Remember, this was a sex trafficking case or whatever. She was trafficked. Remember Brock Lesnar's involvement and Johnny Ace, our buddy from last week. This was trafficking, and that's what they're saying. Survivor.
An
Survivor.
advocate for what? You signed an NDA. You knew the assignment. For years, you went along with the assignment. Make it make sense, Janelle Grant. She's been but way before McMahon doing what she's gotta do and benefiting from it, right? However that is. And I wanna say, like, maybe this is life's way of finally beating her ass, but if she's in on it in a plant, then it's not. It's just
Yeah.
another, you know, what if all of this is going on because there's nothing wrong with McMahon and there it's just a whole scheme and she's still doing all the who knows? I don't know. Anything's
Could
possible.
be.
Anything's
Yeah.
possible, and I say anything's possible with these things because I've been around this for so long. Since I'm like 18 years old, I've been around. You get yourself an old man river and you get yourself a nice little deal with him because one day you're going to get old yourself. And then you know, you got to know when to wrap it up, or if you want a family in the future, you got to keep this real discreet. And then once you finally get yourself settled and what you need to do, like you turn that new, like I know it all, baby. I know it all and have been tempted in so many different times with it. Don't like that girl. Who knows if it's even real? We shall see.
I mean, that is some TMI right there. But folks, she'll be back. She made her
Oh,
first
yeah.
little debut. If Oprah was still around, she'd be on Oprah's couch before you knew it. Okay. So,
1,000. Who is there left these days, like, to do that? There's, like, nobody.
well, Ellen's gone.
Ellen's gone.
She took her powder because of all the crap that was said
Right.
about her. So Oprah's gone, Ellen's gone, Kelly Clarkson's even gone. She's leaving. So I don't
See?
know who's left.
Who's left? Is The View
Wendy
still a thing?
Williams is gone.
Oh, I used to love The Wendy Show. I wanna know
The
what
View
happened with
is
Wendy Williams.
oh god, well, that was a terrible story. Wendy Williams had like major medical issues after COVID. Like I don't know if it was a stroke or something, but Wendy Williams is like a vegetable or something. Like
Oh,
she's
I know. I'm all about it. I've seen all the little made for TV documentaries. I've tried
yeah.
to go do my own research online. I'm like, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I want to know the truth. I want to know
Yeah,
what's really
Wendy
going on.
Williams
That's what
is
I want.
that's a horrible story. The View is still around. They're so politically corrupted that I don't
Mm,
know if they're like the place to go. Actually, they could be a landing spot for her because it's a very female centric audience, so that could be the spot for
maybe
her to
she'll be
land. So
there
that's
soon.
actually a really good one. All right, bookers at
Maybe.
the View. There's a challenge for you. We need some content, please.
We
Book
need
Janelle.
a new like Phil Donahue. Bring
She's
that back.
let's think. She's not going to Fox. She's she's not going anywhere near that. So it's got to be ABC that could step it up and take on. You can't talk about some of the stuff that went on between her and Vince, so they have to be super clean with the
Right.
stuff they reference. So
It's just crazy
maybe she has to
because
go to the cable news.
we just live in a different era where I feel back in that like our time in our day, there were so many different outlets of like, you know, that were good, like breaking stories or interviewing people for those soft-hearted moments to get the scoop of what was really going on. Like that's why I was like, who's even left anymore? There's no one.
Oh yeah, there was a million of them. They
And
take
they
your
were
pick.
good. They were good. They were good. And then you had good old Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. Like, man, you had it all, baby.
Yeah, yeah, you had your pick of the litter for your
Jenny
trash
Jones.
TV.
Oh, I
Jenny
love Jenny
Jones is a great
Jones.
one.
Rude
I mean,
Jude, remember?
there was the block at like 5 o'clock in New York where it was like Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones, and somebody maybe like Richard Bay or something. Like it was some trash TV that one
Montel.
block. Montel's another one that was some
I
good shows back
know.
in the
Even
day.
Geraldo going even back. That was a good one.
Geraldo
I
would
like
get in
Geraldo.
there and fight with them too.
Yep. Yes, dude.
He get
I
he get his
believed
collar all
everything.
messed up. He'd get all
Mhm.
bloody. He'd get in there.
He would. He's, you know, Geraldo Rivera he's the one that knows the assignment. He knows what to do and he brings it every time. Are you a fan of the show My Name is Earl?
Of course, yeah.
Oh my gosh, remember when they had Inside Probe or whatever, and he was,
Yeah,
like,
and he
playing
was
himself, and it's just like, "Oh my gosh," like, that's when you know he has known the assignment. He's never been genuine. He's always known the assignment, and that's what he's given you.
Geraldo actually in the 90s, early 90s they did a wrestling expose on one of his shows, and his brother Craig Rivera was the reporter who had to do the inside expose on the WWF
Oh.
steroid and ring boy scandal.
Dude, I have to look that up. I am
Yeah, it's not
invested. Get
bad.
ready.
It's not bad. And I think that Vince is on there. I think that's the one where they tried to get Vince outside Titan Tower. And Vince, I think he's driving the car that Stone Cold filled with cement. That you know, remember
Oh
the
my
one?
goodness.
Yeah, I think that Vince is driving that out of Titan Tower when they try to interview him. It's a
Of
great one. All
course.
those exposés. That's how I learned the business back in the day. Were those exposés?
Love a good expose.
So, all right. Moving on. Before we get any further, I got to bring up this one video. I saw this earlier today. This is just kind of like a little funny segment segue. Um, so there was a video shared on X of a gentleman who was reflecting. He was reflecting on WWE's greatest era, and I wanted your take on the matter. So I'm gonna play this video up here.
The Attitude Era, because they had bra and panties matches. This era doesn't have bra and panties matches. I want to see Liv Morgan in a bra and panties match. I also want to see Becky Lynch and Natalia in one. Maybe not Natalia. Fuck Natalia. Let's go Maxine Dupree. She's in my bra and panties match.
All right, so rather portly gentleman, and it would look like a wheelchair, talking about his love of the bra and panties match, and that his favorite era was the Attitude Era because of the bra and panties match, and he feels they need to bring back the bra and panties match. Now, they stayed around for a while. I would like to get your opinion on a couple of things. One, the outrage that I saw about this video and this man's opinion on the bra and panties match, whether or not they need to come back, and should we have had them to begin with? So the floor is yours, Miss Martinez.
This trips me the F out because just earlier this week I saw I forget what it was, something on my timeline that was showing, I think it was like the first bra and panties match, whenever that was. Um and I wanted to retweet it, and then I didn't because then I thought, wait a minute. Why do I love bra and panties matches? Because I do. I like watching them, and I'm straight. And I liked doing them the few times that I did them in my career. So I asked myself, why do I like this? Why do I want to retweet this? And then I thought, am I like, one can be like, this is just totally being objectified by men and like all those things. And I get that. And I understand that. And then I'm like, am I just like because I come from that era of the Bud Bundy the Al Bundy era and like the Man Show, and like I'm just one of those girls going back to like I tried out for the Man Show to be a trampoline girl. Like I sought out these opportunities because that's what I wanted to do. So I'm like, am I the one that's the problem? Because whatever. And then I thought, you know what? It's just, there's just different eras. And the era we're in today is just completely different in how society is, right? I saw that there was an uproar with this dude, and I could understand where some of these people, especially women in the business, are coming from 1000%. I see their side. But when I saw the video, I thought, that's just the average like fan that I've seen a gazillion times throughout my career. What's the big deal? I don't know why. And then maybe, like I said, maybe I'm part of the problem. Like, especially, and then, but I don't feel that. Like I feel like I don't have to say this, but for context, I will. I'm all for the girls, always. Like my biggest wounds in life are wounds from women because I ride so hard for women because it's hard to be a woman. So I just don't think it's that deep to get that upset about, because you see that kind of fan how many times at how many different shows, how many different signings or whatever. It just is what it is. it's not going to change anything. Pick and choose your battles. And that guy looks like he's having a hard time in life already. So now we're going to throw that more on blast. I'm not saying I can see how people can get triggered or feel he's in the wrong for saying that. I'm not discrediting that. But no offense to that guy. He looks like he's had a hard time in life. So, I don't think he was trying to disrespect women in wrestling. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful, whatever. I don't think he is self-aware enough to where the people that are being upset and in an uproar about it, I don't think he's self-aware enough to see it that way. That's why you gotta pick and choose your battles. Look
I
at
would
your
agree with that.
the audience of who you're talking about here. This isn't John Cena saying those things, somebody that is very self-aware. And I say John Cena just because, like, I don't know why. Because he's not a fan, but like, what fan can I say? Like, green shirt guy. I don't think green shirt guy, there we go, would say that. Like, it's just a fan who's answering honestly a question. Move on. It's not that deep.
I mean, can I point something out here? He's
Yeah.
wearing a Rhea Ripley shirt, so he's supporting a female wrestler. So
Good point.
that's a plus right there.
That's a big, huge point you just made right now, freaking Chad, because he didn't have some wrestler that's a man on his shirt. He showed up wearing a women's wrestling. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah, he's just saying his favorite era. Now, Jordan Grace commented on this. She said, interviewing mentally disabled people are going to say some off the wall, socially unacceptable shit for views. It gets to a point. I don't think that guy's mentally disabled. I just think he's a fat guy in a wheelchair.
Let's say he is. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like he's being exploited. And, whether it's people getting mad or people just want to make fun of him, either way, I think it sucks. Because there's nothing different about that dude that I haven't seen a million times at hundreds of shows or hundreds of signings. Like, what's the big deal? And it just sucks because it just is what it is. And, maybe that guy watches that and he thinks it's awesome that the internet has this video all over and it's circulating. Like, if he's aware of it, I'm sure he is by now. Maybe it makes him excited. So maybe fine, get in the uproar. I don't know. I just don't know what the big deal is.
Getting destroyed in the comments. He's just getting ripped apart.
Oh,
Like, just Eugene is so real. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the average WWE fan. Bro looks like he hasn't seen the light of day since 2002. Yeah, they're
so
killing.
why is
this
that
guy.
stuff okay? Why is that stuff okay, but what he said isn't okay? What's the difference? So, talking about how you like bra and panty matches because you're a guy, you want to see your favorite wrestlers that are females and do a bra and panties match because you're a guy. And then people over here making fun of him now and putting him down when he looks like he's had a tough time in life already. That looks like the ugly behavior to me versus somebody literally saying what they like. I don't know.
I've always stuck to the defense. And my thing is, I think that the spot that has always been occupied on the card was always great, right? It was always a great compliment to the show. now I think they have tended to overexpose a lot of the female talent in a negative way. My opinion on the fans and the females is if they put them in the bra and panties matches, they wouldn't blink an eye because they'd be just as happy because their love of their wrestling ability would translate just as much to their bra and panties matches. It's they love the wrestler. They
Right.
don't care what they're doing. They're just now masking it with the I love that they're a great worker. I'm going to say all these great fancy words I've learned over the years. But if they put, let's use for example Rhea Ripley again in her very revealing gear, and it was a bra and panties match against pick a random, let's say Liv Morgan, they wouldn't care. Then nobody would care. They'd buy the same tickets. That is just it's just typical online chatter. They wouldn't care. If you're a fan, you're a fan.
I think that would put asses in seats, and everyone would be in an uproar and cannot wait to see them get
right. I mean, that would be it. It would, but I'm saying they wouldn't care. Like, wouldn't the stipulation wouldn't even matter at all. It would. They would watch.
They would 1000%, and it would be a draw. Is what my point is. It would be a huge draw because that's a big deal. But the thing is like, this guy, I'm going to go ahead and say he's probably like around my age because that's the era that he was watching and like whatever. And so going back to me being an entertainer that has sought out opportunities that objectify myself, it's just a different era. And I feel like, and it's just like, you want to think about like, oh, you think about your parents or your grandparents, like every era has like their own thing. And I feel because social media is what it is now, it makes something like this a bigger thing than it needs to be. Like, it's just annoying because there's other things that they can be discussing or whatever, but it's like this is what we're talking about here, and then now people are in their feelings or making fun of the dude now. And I can also see how like female wrestlers can be like, I'm more than bra and panties, and it's like 1000%. I 1000% agree. But there's also nothing wrong with a gimmick match, sisters. There's nothing wrong with it, and even better, you're a bomb ass worker, and so is your opponent. So you almost make people forget that it's a bra and panties match because you're telling such a good story. So I have no problem with it. And like I said, when I have done them in the past, I always lost because everyone wants to see Shelly Martinez in her bra and panties. So I always went into it knowing I'm going to lose because that's what they want. That's what the fans want. So as a wrestler, as an entertainer, as a performer, I thought it was really cool that I was able to do things with it that weren't just the average. Back in the day, a lot of times a bra and panty kind of thing was done by gals that weren't really known for being like wrestlers and getting in there. It was just kind of like whatever, girl fighting, to be honest. So when you incorporate like the wrestling aspect, I feel like it's a really fun kind of thing and lighthearted. So I don't know, whatever. I'm just going on and on, but
I get what you're saying. I mean, look, again, when I would go to a show, if the girls were booked in a one-on-one match, I'd watch the one-on-one match. If they were booked in the bra and panties match, you watch the bra and panties match. What the booker wants, the booker is booking for the show. I mean, is that it?
Totally. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with that guy saying that's what he likes.
I mean, and he's just going to do what they say because he's just in his chair and rather large and nothing he can do about it.
And then when he was like F Natty or whatever, maybe it's because one of his favorite wrestlers, she is, an enemy to or whatever. You don't know. Like, because at first he says it and he's like, oh, no, wait, blah, blah, blah. Like he forgot, like, oh, no, wait, I forgot I don't like her right now. Like, so it's isn't that what you want in the fan? That the fans are so invested that like this guy wants to see in her bra and panties, but then takes it back because for whatever reason, which my gut tells me is because maybe she did something to one of his favorite wrestler girls that he like got mad at her. Like that's what you want, dude. That's I don't know. I can't.
Who knows? I mean, this is like where I think we're thinking too deep now.
Okay. Sorry.
I think this has become too deep of a conversation. But I
Sorry.
also do think that this guy has won the internet for the day because
He did.
he's got more people talking about him now than I think ever. And if you want to make fun of him, then you're going out of your way to put this guy over. So he wins.
Put him over. I'm sure he's excited about it.
Go buy another Rhea Ripley t-shirt. Puts more money in her pocket, right?
Totally.
All right. So before we get out of here, I'm just trying to lock something in because I got signed out of my account that I need to put us in for while we finish up this last segment. So give me one moment.
No problem.
Yes. All right. So before we get out of here for today, I want to talk to you about something I had sent you earlier in the week. And again, you and I had some great discussions about it that we now have to talk about on the air. And it kind of has to do with the growth of what we've been doing together, and you and I have really, we've been very happy with the growth of TMI. And when we say we're happy with the growth of TMI, we're talking about it from the fact that Shelly and I are in a very unique situation. We're both two veteran podcasting personalities that came together that know what it takes to grow an entity, and that in the time we've been together, we've done a pretty damn good job of it in 8 weeks. So we're very proud of the product that's come together in 8 weeks. So when I throw these numbers at you, I don't take them delicately or lightly. That within a month and change, we've had a growth of 500,000 plus impressions on this channel, close to 20,000 views, and that's a difference in the channel. A 320% increase over the last month in traffic, 300 plus subscribers, 134% increase in views. I mean, this is astronomical growth in terms of a new show. And that is, I mean, again, astronomical for just a show to come together and get out of the gate. So earlier this week, I sent Shelly a clip that we're going to talk about that, I got to be honest with you, I didn't love. And I know Shelly has some feelings too. We'll talk about it. It was from a fellow podcasting channel, wrestling podcast channel that, tends to, I have to say, crap on other podcasts and other wrestling channels sometimes. But, when you have success, you can do that. You can say what you want. And in this instance, I feel that, pointing out why they feel most wrestlers fail on YouTube, it can hit close to home. And now this is, my third time working with a wrestler. So I take a lot of interest in comments made because I want to know what am I doing that I maybe either have to look out for or I've done and what are they saying that we're doing wrong? So I sent you this clip. Let's talk about it a little bit. What were your thoughts on it? And we'll talk about the crew as we go along.
Well, first of all, we had talked about privately a couple different ideas of the visual here. And my whole thing was like, oh, we're fine. And so when I watched it, I thought initially that you sent it to me to kind of nudge me like, oh, I know you said it was okay, but see what they're saying over here. And so I thought, well, maybe they're right because like you, I mean, I post my first YouTube video in 2009 and there's a lot of inconsistencies in my channel because things like when I was doing wrestling full time that would take away and like, I wasn't posting as much or whatever, whatever. So I've had the journey and I always wanted to make money at it because as I mentioned shows before, I was here back in LA when YouTubers who are now super, super famous were just I say just making $1,000 a month. I mean, that'd be great, but like they're making millions. They've made millions since then. But they were teaching me how to do it. So I take creating on YouTube specifically very, very serious because I've been doing it for a long time. And I was doing it before a lot of people in the wrestling business were doing it. And I've mentioned before, I used to take my camera and I vlog and I get heat for it because, like, whatever. So I've taken to heart not ever truly reaching my goals that I wanted to do with my channel. So watching that video, I was like, well, maybe I'm going to learn what I'm doing wrong because they certainly have a successful channel. So maybe it's me. Like maybe I'm the problem. Then when I finished watching it, like I said, until you mentioned like that wasn't the case, you didn't send it to me to be like, see, Shelly, come on, we need to do this. Like, that's when I was just like, I was going to call him Charles again.
Charles.
James is somebody, it's James and Stevie Richards. And James is somebody that a couple years ago, he did an interview. This is how I got on my radar with Francine. And I watched it, of course, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like he does such a good job at interviewing. Like I like how he shoots this, like the whole thing, like the vibe." So then I started investing in his channel and watching and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like James is really good, like awesome." Like and so I wanted to be on his show. And so I bossed my way on his show and I had such an awesome time and I was so excited because that creator that I've always been. I always get excited when people are doing or achieving the kind of success content creating that the level I want to be at. So I like collabing with those types of people, especially if I'm like, wow, you really inspire me. That was really James. I was like, dude, like he does such a great job and I had such a great experience. And at that time, that was really the beginning stages of me understanding that it wasn't Batista's fault that I got fired. And so it was huge for me to have that experience. And then he ended up having Melina on his show and he misquoted me to her just to get like the drama. And it made me so upset. I was like, I thought he was better than that. So the whole time I was watching that video, I couldn't help but feel like this kind of chip on my shoulder of I used to find so much inspiration in him and then after that that just showed me his true colors. And after the Melina thing, like I unfollowed him on everything, like I unsubscribed. I was like I'm done with him. And so when he said a couple little comments in there kind of like tooting his own horn, I'm thinking, well, without the wrestlers, where would you be then? Like,
Right. And without paying the wrestlers, where would you be? I'm going to just throw that in right away. You wouldn't even be in the conversation without that. I mean, let's be honest with you.
let's be honest. So I got rubbed wrong. But then I felt like maybe I'm the jerk and maybe it's just because of that situation or whatever. So when we started talking about it, it made me feel so much better that like, no, it is not me. It is James.
Yeah. I mean, it's Charles. So let's be fair. Let's start right back at the beginning.
It's Charles.
She is talking about Charles. I'm like, who the hell is she talking about?
I kept calling him Charles. That's how much he like traumatized me because I was all about his channel and I was like, why Charles? I don't know. And then I thought James Charles. And if you know that name, oof. So it's like
But so I mean, I watched it, I listened to it, and again, like I tend to feel, about the way I do things with podcasting. Like I like the model I have and have had because I've been interviewing wrestlers for over 10 years. It's always been very good for me and I'm comfortable with it. So I continue to do things I'm comfortable with. He does things that are good for him. So he does things that are good for him. What you do for you works for you. You can't expect others to do things just the way you do it and it to be perfect. We talked about shoot interviews. All the different shoot interviews did things differently. Therefore, they made their product different than the others. So I just thought this video was just to toot their own horn. Yeah, you do a great job. Take the ball and run with it. Why you don't need to let people in on secrets. You don't need to let people in on what's going on. And that has always been my biggest thing in talking about broadcasting and filmmaking and television production. When you let people in a lot on what's going on, you're letting your own egotism get in the way because yes, you're doing great, you're doing awesome. We don't need to know just how good you are all the time because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the other people look bad. And why? Why? We don't need to do that. We know we're doing great. And we're 8 weeks in, we're doing phenomenal. We're high-fiving. But if you look at some of the numbers we have, they're not the best, but we don't care because we're doing great for us as two people that have come together that have been doing podcasting for you almost 20 years, for me over a decade. So we have 30 plus years of podcasting experience. So that's friggin' awesome because we know what it's like to grind. So to me, it was just a little bit of a, and it rubbed me the wrong way. Now, Stevie, I just felt was being led a little too much. And Stevie's just commenting. Stevie, I've worked on the brand with Stevie, and I was on conference calls with Stevie. Stevie is just a good soldier. So I got nothing to say about the way he came off in the video. It was more
Yeah, I
about
like Stevie
Charles.
Richards.
Charles
And
was
Charles.
winging it.
And here's the thing. You're so right about everything you just said. And then for me, the viewer that's watching it, I actually let Charles get in my head, and then I thought, "Oh," and then when he was like, "This is a job," and blah, 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 and then I was like, "Wait a minute." I had to remind myself, like, "Dude, for over 3 years, I've been taking care of a family member, like, full time, and I still get things done. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe I wish I was pumping out stuff like I used to, but, like, I'm pretty sure Charles over there doesn't have the responsibilities in his private life that I do because I'm wearing myself thin, and then on top of that, when my night ends at, like, 8 o'clock at night, I finally get to sometimes take a shower. Like, I've worked out at 5 in the morning, but don't get to take a shower till 8, 9 o'clock at night. And then I gotta put my makeup on, get in the vibe, and then record podcasts, record videos, record or take photos, try to act sexy, like whatever, whatever. Yeah, I do treat it like a job. But at first, that video made me feel bad about myself. Like, I am the problem. I'm not taking it serious. And I was like, wait a minute, when most people would be like, you don't have to do anything, Shelly. Like, you need to take care of this over here in your private life. Who cares about that? I'm like, I care. So that's why I run myself thin and I do it. And I feel like now that I've had the journey I did with content creating, there's no magical answer unless you have money to pay a team to get your content and push it out there. Other than that, there's no magic to how you're going to be. There's people who are consistent that still don't even have the numbers that we're having over here. And then there's some people
Yeah.
that barely put anything in, but because they got a team of people behind them that do everything and they're not a do it yourself, they're able, like, so everyone's journey is different. And then what I also learned is, even though I've been in moments in my creating career where it totally sucked and I wanted to give up and I was so down on myself and the whole 9 yards, like, now fast forward, I realize why those certain projects or those certain videos or whatever didn't work out because they weren't meant to. And what's meant to work is the stuff that I'm doing now and the mind frame that I'm in now and what I've learned along my journey now. And that's the thing where I feel God didn't give me those fruits with having a quote unquote successful channel back in the day because it wasn't my time yet. It wasn't my season. So I don't think that there's this magical code of, oh, you just follow this outline and then you're going to be viral. It doesn't work that way because I've been doing this too long, and it's either it's your time and that's your time, or you have money to have a team behind you to make it your time faster. That is it. There's no golden rule. There's no step-by-step guide. There's none of that. It's either meant to be or it's not, or unless you got money to make it meant to be.
You're right. Yeah. And I mean, and I look back on how like I kept Francine going for like the last year when she wanted to stop. I mean, if anybody listened to Eyes Up Here and is listening to TMI, folks, I kept her going for about the last year. And I look back at some of the stuff that we did, and it's probably not that good because I was just keeping somebody who was not into it going. But it was the best I could do as a content creator with, like you said, no team, nobody behind us to try to get some semblance of viewership and chunk of that wrestling world. I tried my best, but that's all we can do. And what we're doing now is, to me, I said I'm so energized by our relationship, show, reactions we've had, the response. I love this. TMI is the shit. I love it. So
do
we gotta keep the
I.
ball rolling.
And going back to that whole thing and that journey, it's like you had to go through all of your different seasons. I had to go through all my different seasons. And then that's when things happen. And that's like what you learn, like like you said, you were keeping her going. Like I had this show that I was doing for 5 years, and it was cannabis related. So I was always smoking on camera. And what's interesting is now doing our show, and I'd always say, man, like some of the stories I've said on here, I've said it on that show, but I realized it wasn't meant to prosper that show the way I wanted it to. Because I've even thought to myself, if I had the numbers that you and I have together with that show, I would have been so happy. And I was like pulling teeth. I'm like, what is going on here? And then it wasn't until like sometime last year, and no offense to anyone who does this is my own journey. I had a moment where I was like, dude, I regret sexualizing cannabis. And wasn't trying to disrespect it, and I felt like I disrespected it because how I use it or whatever. So now I understand why that show wasn't supposed to thrive. It was supposed to give me the experience and all this to keep me where I need to go, so that we're here to where it's like now this show is a better representation of who I am and where I am in my life now. And so no wonder why it's like organically coming together, even just you and I coming together and then building it together. And like, it's just a really cool thing. And it took that whole journey up until TMI for me to realize, see, now I get it. And I used to beat myself up like, why isn't this working? Let it know. And a Charles and Stevie Richard video would have been the first thing I clicked on to say, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Nothing. It's just not the right time.
I probably inspired Charles to get into podcasting, knowing my podcasting history, because my interviews back in the day led to so many guys starting podcasts over time that I've heard about. That who knows? To toot my own horn.
Yeah.
Huh?
Toot,
How's that for a toot?
toot,
I'll pull a diesel right here. I'm dieseling that. I'm big Stevie Cool right now. I'm pulling Stevie Cool. That's my toot.
There you go.
Toot that shit all day long. All right.
All day long.
Let's wrap it up here for today here on TMI. Of course, get on over to the Shelly Martinez channel. Actually, you're on it right now. See, I always think I'm still in audio podcast land. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you comment. I don't care if you just comment a period, a dot, the word I don't care what you comment. Just comment, say something just to let us know that you're watching. share these. Just get the word out about TMI. We got to grow. We got to get ourselves out there. And we will continue to bring the thunder like we do every single week here on Too Much Information. If you want to follow me on social media, it's at Chad EMB on X and at IB Exclusives on Instagram.
And you want to see what I'm up to? Just go to ShellyMartinez.net/links. Everything's there for you, nice and organized. ShellyMartinez.net/links.
All right. Well, she lived the kind of life that needs a disclaimer before our intro and our outro music. So we will say goodbye to her this week. That is Shelly from Cali. And for me, your old buddy, the Chadster, we will catch you on the flip side.